Yes, Sunday afternoon. Traditionally, it used to be the day for League of Ireland football. On this particular Sunday afternoon in Dublin, it's, of course, the FAI Cup semi-final, and the fans have come in great numbers to see Bohemians take on Sligo Rovers. The travelling fans making plenty of noise even at this early stage, with the anticipation of the sides taking the pitch very, very shortly. And just before they do, we've got to get final predictions from Richie and Tony. Both of you went with Bohemians, or with Sligo Rovers, I should say, in the early stages of our chat. Do you think there's any way the Bulls can get a result?
As I mentioned a while ago, if Sligo are still licking their wounds from knowing that they're not going to win the league, it's possible. I don't think it's going to happen. I think Sligo will win, and probably by 2 goals.
Tony, Bohemians for you?
I'd love to disagree with Richie, but unfortunately I can't. I think, I do think that the strength of the team that they have out, forget the squad, but the first 11 in itself, and the form that they've taken into this game, with the exception of the recent Pats performance, or Pats result, sees nothing other than a win for me. I think Bohemians' best opportunity is to try and keep it tight, try and take it maybe back up to the showgrounds and hope for the best, and maybe they'll have a few more bodies back by then.
Yes, so let's see what's going to happen over the next 90 minutes or so here at Dalymount Park. It's Bohemians against the cup holders Sligo Rovers, and our big match commentary team this afternoon, Stephen Alkin and Damien Richardson.
And what a marvellous occasion we have in Dalymount Park, the traditional home of Irish soccer, as the sides come out onto the pitch. This, a clash that produced one of the best games last year. Sligo Rovers with their possession game, just a delight to watch as they beat Bohemians on this perfect Dalymount Park sod, and went on to win the cup in such dramatic fashion against Shamrock Rovers. But this is another day, and in the cup, well, we know surprises are more common given the one-off nature of knockout competition. This is the Bohemian side that Pat Fennan has chosen, without the suspended Burns, Fagan and Flood, but this lineup has a nice blend of experience and youth, led by the evergreen Owen Heary.
Yes, and thankfully for Pat, Mark Rossiter passed his fitness test and makes that back four of Rossiter, Heary, O'Brien and Callum a very experienced back four. I feel they will need every ounce of that experience and every ounce of determination from the lads spread throughout the team. This is a huge task for Bohemians, but they're home, they've experienced the back four, they could rise to the occasion.
Sligo Rovers, well, they make just one change to the side that lost to St. Pat's last weekend, a defeat that took the winning of the league out of their control. Matthew Blinkhorn is left out, and top scorer Owen Doyle plays.
And I feel that could be a significant change in the team, because last week the only thing that let Sligo down was the fact that they didn't take their chances, and it cost them dearly. In a semi-final in particular, when the chances come, the first goal will be of ultra importance in this game. If Sligo get it, you would think them going all the way to the final. In that respect, Doyle will be very, very important.
What a marvellous day in the middle of October for a game as big as this. This, the substitutes bench for both sides, and you can see the contrast between Bohemians, who have so many youngsters in reserve, and Sligo Rovers, who have the likes of Dillon, Blinkhorn, Cortaro, Kirby, who can come on. Pat
Fennan can only look at the Sligo bench and drool, because in years past he had a similar bench to that. Difficult times for Bohemians, hence this game is even more important, but important for both clubs, because the Aviva Stadium awaits the winners.
Here's Owen Heary, the evergreen 35-year-old, 8 championship titles in the last 11 seasons, an extraordinary record. And this, the man who has made it following an injury with his ankle. Mark Rossiter, Sligo born. His brother Ian used to play for the club. I was speaking to him earlier. He used to support Sligo Rovers as a young man, but then of course he went over to England and had more things to do. Gavin Pearce, well, he scored the winning goal last year, diving header in the 75th minute. And of course up front for Sligo Rovers, the very quick Owen Doyle facing the camera there. He will be so sharp, and he'll be expecting to get the goal that might take Sligo Rovers to the Aviva Stadium yet again.
Well, to counteract the pace of Doyle, I would expect Bohemians to sit back a little bit deeper than they would normally play, try and invite Sligo Rovers onto them and catch them on the break.
Referee today, Damien Hancock. Big afternoon for him as well. Beaming sunshine, wonderful conditions, and let's hope that the two sides can produce the kind of football of which we know they're capable. Away we go. A place in the Aviva Stadium on November the 6th. is the reward for whichever of these sides can find a way of getting a victory. It's not always pretty in a semi-final. Winning is more important than the style of football, and straight away Glenn Cronin, what he went through on a very important player for Sligo Rovers, Richie Ryan, and caught him late.
I don't think there's too much wrong with it. Worth a word of caution from the referee. We're going to get a lot of early challenges. We saw Shamrock Rovers on Thursday evening closing Derry down every sense. Bohemians will have to do that everywhere, Stephen. Close the ball as quickly as they possibly can. Don't let Sligo get the all-important rhythm.
The free kick looking for Pears and McGuinness, who've gone forward, and it's Brennan, one of Bohemians' most important players, who clears it away. Sligo Rovers, of course, today in all white. Bohemians in their traditional black and red. And a wonderful atmosphere for this game. Both sets of supporters really up for this. Clark's long ball headed on by Aaron Green, former Bohemians player. Indeed, lots of former Bohemians players in this Sligo Rovers lineup. In the starting 11, no fewer than 4 have played for Bohemians in the past. Pears, McGuinness, Joey Endo and Aaron Green. Indeed, Aaron Green was an unused sub playing for Bohemians against Sligo Rovers last year.
Bohemians are playing the same, both playing the same system, 4-5-1, 4-3-3 more for Sligo. They'll use the 3 midfield players as in an attacking sense, whereas Bohemians will use Stephen Hurley, Glenn Cronin and Stephen Traynor in a defensive sense. Try and stop those 3 Sligo players getting on the ball, setting more and more attacks in motion.
Not much breeze today. Any that there is seems to be favouring Bohemians in the first half. That's Iarla Davran trying to get forward. That throw-in came off, it'll be a Bowes throw, it came off the Sligo man. Well, Paul Cook, it's well documented and well said by Tony and Richie before the game. What a fantastic influence he's had on Sligo Rovers Football Club. Such an experienced player. He played over 640 games in English football. People often forget that. 44 years old now. Mark Roster to take the throw in. Let's hope his injury woes are behind him and he can get through the entire 90 minutes here.
And Stephen Hurley showing a bit of an experience there. Bohemians have got to try and settle, apply themselves diligently to the man marking job that Pat Fenton has set them, because they know Sligo will keep moving that ball, keep probing, keep testing, and it's very important the young players in particular have a good level of concentration about them.
The back 4 for Bohemians has plenty of experience with the likes of Heary, McGuinness and Cahill, but it's up front where they have all the Callow youth and exuberance that needs to be harnessed in the right fashion. McGuinness gets it away. Downs was good in the air, and it's gone through to Brendan Clark. Joey Endo, and now Gavin Pears, who started his career as a young man at Dalymount Park. Good layoff by Russell to Joey Endo. Owen Heary heads it away. Stephen Traynor blocked by Richie Ryan. And Green left it, but Forrester was in quickly, and now it's Traynor trying to make progress. But a good tackle by Iarla Davran.
Sligo also got to keep the concentration. They want to keep the pressure on this Bows team, test the whole team, young players and experienced players alike. But any lapse of concentration, low Bohemians in. Bohemians managed to get a goal. Really make it an exciting afternoon.
Free kick given by our Dublin referee, Damien Hancock. So far, Sligo have had more of the possession, but Bohemians trying to pressure them all across the pitch. Danny Ventre, the Liverpool-born midfielder, getting it back to McGuinness, looking for Doyle. Well won in the air. by Ger O'Brien. Rossiter. Ryan gets there first for Sligo. Onto it comes Chris Forrester, but he loses out. And now Gavin Pearce. Joseph Doe quickly on to Alan Keane. John Russell making a good move. But Ger O'Brien did well. Very capable player, Ger O'Brien. Can play it right back, centre back. Probably happiest in midfield, but he's at centre half today. Russell. The movement from Alan Keane was good, took out two Bohemians players. The cross to the far post was poor. Owen Doyle was in a good position. But a good chance for Sligo Rovers, and Alan Keane getting forward from right back as he so often does.
Very clever run, good movement, but the cross let him down badly.
Forrester. Back it goes to Rossiter. Nicely into the feet of Downs, combining with Traynor. Two very quick players. Their pace could be a problem for Sligo Rovers, especially if they can get behind.
Well, they will, and the way Aidan Downs is able to come off Jason McGuinness there. Here's the ball into Keane coming on there, just looking, he should have looking up and picking out his player. He just knocked it in over everybody. Should have done a lot better with that situation.
Rossiter with very little room to move in, but he has won the throw-in off former Bohemians player Aaron Green. Chris Forrester. He was looking for Killian Brennan, but Danny Ventre got it away. And it's put out of play by Owen Heary.
You can see by Owen Heary and Ger O'Brien, they're going to close Owen Doyle at every possible opportunity. They know they cannot allow him to pick the ball up and run at them with the pace he has. So they will be very, very competitive in the heart of that Bohemians defence.
Sligo Rovers will keep trying to play their possession game. Always very patient in the build-up. Good movement there by Russell. Finds Alan Keane. Forward it goes from Pearce. Trainer's in for Bowes. Ollie Cahill. Trainer's little nudge on to Brennan didn't work because Keane was there. Ndodo blocked by Traynor. He's been everywhere so far. And that's good play by John Russell to dispossess the Bohemians youngster. The cross beyond Doyle. The header wasn't the best. Doyle has it. Now Ryan looking for Alan King. Was that a handball? It came off the arm, no doubt about that. Sligo Rovers making a claim, but the player was very close when this ball was played towards him, Ger O'Brien.
He was close, I agree, but the referee could have given this as a penalty. I think we see it here. The ball bounces up, his arm is out by his side. It's. I think he was very lucky to get away with that, Ger O'Brien.
So early in the game, Damien Hancock asked to make a big decision, and he's chosen not to give the penalty. Pearce looking for Keane, the wind though blowing that away towards the touchline. Cleared away by Ollie Cahill to Killian Brennan, got the better of Ndoe, and Traynor goes down, caught by Gavin Pearce, and caught late, and it is going to be a yellow card this time. Gavin Pearce, the first player to be cautioned today, and very early in the match with just 9 minutes gone.
I think that's a bad yellow card to give out so early in a semi-final. He's going for the ball. The Bohemians player gets his leg there before it. There's no malice in it whatsoever. And that's the sort of thing I think really annoys professional footballers. We'll see it here. He touches there. It's only a clash. You run into each other. Nothing intentional whatsoever. Look at that.
So the man who scored the winner exactly a year ago is walking a tightrope now with a yellow card to his name. Ger O'Brien's free kick, half cleared by the Sligo defence, and John Russell with his pace quick to get it away, but that was a good tackle by Mark Rossiter, standing firm for Bohemians.
Yes, you could see the determination in the tackle. The timing was perfect. Bohemians will need every bit of that experience and that close attention.
Mark Rossiter, who's had all sorts of problems with injuries. He had to take an insurance claim for a bad injury he had when he was over in England, but he's thankfully back playing again, albeit he missed the last couple of games.
He is a lovely player, Steve. He can play right across the back four if needed, and he's been a great servant to Bohemians.
Poor play that time by Hurley, and the clearance isn't properly got away, and now the first, no, it's not going to be a corner. It looked like it was going to be a corner for that clearance by Ger O'Brien, I think, but it's actually been given as a goal kick to Bohemians.
It looked a corner to me, although we're a good distance away.
Aaron Green got the first block in, and then Ger O'Brien was across. Ger O'Brien, who was Player of the Year with Shamrock Rovers 4 years ago.
Probably just twisted his knee as he went in to get through the ball. I think his foot might have caught Doyle coming in accidentally.
A very versatile player. Today asked to do a job because of the absence of the centre halves, Liam Burns and Aidan Price for Bohemians. Pears with a strong header. Cahill got there ahead of Doe. Trainer knocking it forward. Irla Davrin, who has a good left foot, as you'd expect for a left back, but he's unable to keep it in play.
The wind is causing a few problems. It's building up, it's getting stronger, it's swirling quite a bit around the stadium. Makes the simple pass that little bit more difficult, which won't suit Sligo.
Here's Aidan Downs trying to make his way into the box. Alan Keane was across on the cover. Rossiter looking for Heary, but it goes back to Barry Murphy. Now Rossiter. He's looked assured so far. Trainer under pressure from Richie Ryan. Jason McGuinness, who joined Sligo from Bohemians at the start of this year. Cleared by Heary, straight to McGuinness. He had the time to take it down. It's all a bit fast and furious. That challenge will give a free kick to Sligo Rovers, and the referee, well, I thought he was going to let him play on there, but he's called it back now to have a word with Aidan Downs.
I mean, in a semi-final in particular, any game, you want to let the game flow as often as you can. There was a good advantage to play. The ball breaks out, Sligo pick it up, let the play flow.
Aidan Downs, who missed last week's win against UCD because of suspension, restored to the starting 11 today. Of course, no Fagan or Flood for Bohemians. They're two top scorers this season. And now another free kick, challenged by Killian Brennan on Alan Keane. That's going to be an interesting battle all day today. Keane trying to get forward, and Brennan, the midfielder, on that side.
Again, there was little or nothing in this. The linesman didn't flag. Damien Hancock seems determined to jump on things from the very beginning. Maybe there's a wisdom in his actions, but I personally prefer to see the game flow, let the game build up, give the game as much advantage as it possibly can to be entertaining.
McGuinness and Pears, as ever, have gone forward for Sligo Rovers here. Joseph and Doe usually good at these dead ball situations. It's a good ball in here, he got his head to it. Ryan was the first to react for Sligo. That pass, though, almost past Irla Davrin. Ryan back to the last man, who's Alan Keane. And Keane sends it forward looking for Owen Doyle's run, and it's Owen Heary who was across to snuff out the danger. Brennan, good chest control. Forward from Hurley, the layoff from Trainer to Brennan. Keane gets it away. I was saying a lot of experience in this Bohemians back four. Well, of course, there's Owen Heary, who's 35 now. Ollie Cahill is 36. And as we heard earlier, he won the Cup with Cork City all of 13 years ago, back in 1998. Well won in the air by Hurley, cleared away by Pears to Green. Good play by Aaron Green, finding Russell, but then the challenge comes in quickly from Hurley. One of the youngsters here that they've got a lot of hope for the future. Stephen Hurley, no youngster really, he's 25. Has had a few years with Arklow Town before he joined Bohemians.
It's a close tackle, there's very little room in what is a congested midfield. Hence that idea to move the ball 1 and 2 touch if possible. Every opportunity they get, Bohemians are closing as quickly as they possibly can, letting Sligo know physically and psychologically that they're in for a battle this afternoon.
The conditions for this semi-final couldn't be more different than they were for the one a year ago when Sligo put on that masterclass. That was a night game. There was no wind whatsoever. This in bright sunshine on a breezy afternoon. It shouldn't make any difference to a side who plays well, though. The block there giving Bohemians the throw in.
It is all Sligo. The game is being played exclusively in the Bohemians' half of the field. They're doing the best they possibly can, Sligo. If they can, I suppose, if they can hold out for a while, get the first important 20 minutes in, get a bit of a breathing space then. But
well, we've passed the quarter-hour mark here at Dalymount Park. It remains scoreless. And you wouldn't say that Bohemians are hanging on by any means. There haven't been too many chances in the game so far. Perhaps a couple of wayward crosses, the nearest we've come to either goalkeeper being in danger. Cahill to Brennan. Good movement again by Traynor. He has certainly shone at the start of this game for Bohemians. Back to Brennan. The early cross curling on the breeze, and Brendan Clark able to gather. Sligo trying to start the attack at pace, but Aidan Downs prevented him from getting the ball away too quickly.
Stephen Traynor will be important in that forward role from the central three in the middle of the park for Bohemians.
Glenn Cronin back to Cahill. Driven long by Barry Murphy on the breeze, and Aidan Downs with his pace almost getting past Gavin Pearce. Now, was that a back pass by Pearce? Did he touch that towards the keeper?
Well, whatever happened, young Downs got in between the two centre-halves. There's a moment's confusion, and they've got to be very careful, the two big lads at the back, Pearce and McGuinness. There was a lack of communication there. And
he thought about playing it back to his keeper, but then, luckily for Sligo Rovers, he made the right choice not to touch the ball. Good challenge again by Chris Forrester this time, just 18 years old. What an occasion for some of these Bohemians youngsters, the likes of Traynor and Forrester. And Aidan Downs up front, big occasion for them, and Forrester unable to control it there. It's Aaron Green for Sligo, a player who has made that left-sided midfield berth his own in the latter half of the season. He wasn't always first choice.
he brings a great pace to the team, and that's very, very important, especially in modern football.
When he was here at Dalymount, he was more renowned as a goal scorer, but he's gone from left back to the left side of midfield. Very versatile player. Now Russell came off O'Brien. First corner of the game, and it goes to Sligo Rovers.
Great movement from that man, John Russell there. Runs in behind the defence, gets on the ball. That's a run Bohemians we have to be very, very mindful of. That's what Sligo can do from the middle of the park.
The Sligo Rovers fans in the Des Kelly stand behind that goal. Aaron Green being closely watched by Mark Rossiter. Owen Heary trying to keep Jason McGuinness in his sights, two former teammates, of course. In goes the corner, and Doe cleared away by Glenn Cronin. Davern back to Keane, and all the way back to Brendan Clark. The head-to-heads are interesting in cup matches between these sides. Here at Dalymount Park, they've played 6 times. Bohemians have won just once. 2 wins for Sligo, and one of those was that amazing game in 1983 when Sligo won the cup for the first time, coming from behind. Murphy scoring for Bohs, and then Stenson and Harry McLaughlin with that amazing winner in the pouring rain. The first time the cup went back to Sligo Rovers after many, many times being runners-up. Brennan finds Rossiter. Heary over the top, nobody chasing that one. Comfortable for Sligo Rovers at the back.
Not a lot Owen Heary could do there. The ball back to him, he's put under pressure very, very quickly by Aaron Green. And we're talking about Bohemians closing the ball quickly. Sligo also have got to have that sort of mentality.
On the sideline, Eamon Donoghue has Liam O'Brien.
Liam, how do you think your side have warmed to the task so far?
I think we've done okay. I think we've had a couple of good passages of play early on. I think early on in the game, both teams have cancelled each other out. A little bit compact in the midfield area there, but overall, we're quite pleased.
Thanks, Liam.
Well, if Bohemians want inspiration, they only have to think back a few days to when they went to the Tallaght Stadium and held Shamrock Rovers to a 1-1 draw, playing with 10 men for the whole of the second half. They fought back there with great style and gusto, and it's just the kind of fighting qualities that Pat Fenlon and his backroom team will be hoping for today.
Well, they'll have to show every ounce of that sort of fighting spirit, because we can see already the game is moving in the expected pattern. Sligo holding most of the possession, but still not getting past that strong Bohemians defence.
It would be some achievement for Sligo were they to get to the final for the third year in a row, losing to Sporting Fingal in 2009, winning last year in that dramatic penalty shootout when Kieran Kelly was the hero, saving 4 penalties.
Set pieces, I feel, will be important to Bohemians. 2 reasons. One, it allows them to slow the game down, give themselves a breather, and also get Owen Heary up into the opposing defence and put a long ball in there and see can he manufacture something.
They're looking for him, but Pearse gets there for Sligo and finds Joseph N'Doe, who's been very quiet so far. Joseph normally more involved in the action, but the tackling and the marking and the pressing by Bohemians has been first-rate so far. Good ball by Richie Ryan. Picks out the left-back here, Ledavrin. Taking on Rossiter, but that was easy for the full-back. Oh, and a little slip by Hurley. Cleared away. Layoff by Traynor to Cronin. Finds Aidan Downs. Rossiter was hoping for better. Jason McGuinness got it away. Rossiter once more. McGuinness didn't even have to jump for that, he's so tall. And here's Chris Forrester rather. Good little run, and he's won the free kick. The tackle by Aaron Green. And another Bohemians free kick that could cause danger to Sligo.
It's a game you see Owen Heary going up there. If we can get close enough for Killian Brennan to take over the free kicks, then we know his quality.
Stephen Hurley forward, so too Downs and Traynor. But again, the delivery is poor. They have to find the players if they're going to send them forward.
The players are finding it difficult to judge the passing in the breeze, I feel, Stephen. It is swirly, it has built up, and it's making it a little bit awkward. And in the semi-final, when the nerves are jangly a little bit, the game, nor either team have really settled yet. So we're not seeing what I think will be the real game turn out yet.
As often happens in these kind of occasions, first half they feel each other out, second half the ball gets down the deck a bit more. Pearse heads it away. Back in by Traynor, cleared by McGuinness. Very strong challenge by Hurley. Uncompromising, and Cahill puts it out of play.
Sligo can expect that sort of close, tough challenge, so they've got to move the ball quickly. Green should have moved into the ball there instead of waiting for it. When you wait for the ball, you allow Bohemians to close you down.
Doyle's pace here, trying to get in behind Ger O'Brien, but a little pull or a little push by Owen Doyle. He's not too happy with the decision on Ger O'Brien, and a free kick goes to the home side today, Bohemians.
We've seen the referee in the game, I feel, far too much, Stephen. Let the game flow, let the game have, there was nothing much in that at all. He gave the free kick, what I think was a generous free kick. Got to try and give the game to the players, let the players play. There's nothing malicious in anything so far in the game.
Well, we've only got one player in the book, thank goodness. That's Gavin Pearse for that late challenge. And it's Pearse with the header. But quickly in was Ollie Cahill. Finds Killian Brennan. Good tackle by Aaron Green. For the first time this afternoon, popping up on the Sligo right. He's switched with Joey N'Doe, but the crossfield pass looking for N'Doe, cut out by Chris Forrester. Back to Heary. McGuinness in quickly. Ryan. Little slip by Danny Ventre. There was a lot of rain in Dublin last night, and the pitch is just a little bit soft. Here's Russell. And now Alan Keane. Great ball over the top for Owen Doyle. He's got behind here. Now, was that a shot or a cross? It looks like he was caught in two minds.
Good movement. The run here behind the defence is very, very timed very well. A little bit cooler there. would have been better. Get hold of the ball, wait for support to come, roll it back into the box. Sligo are finding it a little bit difficult to get hold of the game, to play out of the back into the middle of the park because of the close marking of Bohemians.
Well, neither goalkeeper has had to make a save yet, and that's indicative of the kind of contest we've had so far. Aidan Downs just rushing Brendan Clark into that long clearance, and the header by Aaron Green will give a throw into Bows, but right back at their own corner flag. Expect Sligo now to press them into the corner. 25 minutes gone at Dalymount Park. Bohemians 0, Sligo Rovers 0. It's a game that's looking like the first goal might be very important indeed. And it's sent up the line by Davern, and a slip there, allowing Joseph Doe to get onto it, but quickly out of the middle came Owen Heary, sniffing it like a good experienced pro.
You can see Owen Heary there. He's going to make sure there are no slip-ups, no silly mistakes, getting you the ball at the first opportunity anytime it's near his own penalty area.
Ryan to Russell, back to Ryan again, but the shadow is there. Stephen Traynor, who's done a great job for Bows so far, preventing Richie Ryan from pulling the strings. Keane, played out wide by Danny Ventre to Aaron Green, trying to take on Ollie Kyle and getting through, and Green with the shot, and it's offside. It's offside. The flag is raised. John Russell came in and made a touch. Had he not, it could have been a goal, because that shot from Aaron Green was heading for the bottom corner, but the assistant on this near side, Kieran Delaney, had his flag up in a flash.
And he was absolutely correct, I feel. I think we'll see that the Sligo player was offside. Great play by the fullback, picks out his option, and there's the Sligo player offside, appreciably offside. But you're right, that ball might have crept in at the back post.
First real glimpse of what we know that Sligo Rovers are capable of. Good passing, excellent play by Aaron Green, coming in off the right side with his left foot, and then John Russell, such a quick player, but maybe a bit too quick for his own good there. As the Bohemians' defence came out, he was caught just a yard offside.
His movement was too early, and Green had done very well, got himself in a great position. And John there, as we see him, just moved too early, allowed his enthusiasm to run away with him instead of being cool and calm and just biding his time properly. I mean, he's all on his own, almost in front of the goalkeeper.
Aaron Green, who spent last season here at Dalymount Park. Indeed, he made his international debut in midweek, coming on as a sub for the Republic of Ireland under-21 team in their 5-1 win in Liechtenstein. And here's another free kick and another yellow card for John Russell, and that was really a nothing challenge.
We could end up in this game, Steve, with somebody leaving the bill, being sent off the field. When we've gone 28 minutes, there hasn't really been a bad tackle in the game. And we look at this here, there's nothing in that, absolutely nothing in that.
Stephen Traynor in the corner, double covered by Green and Keane. It's going to be a goal kick. And from the way Killian Brennan punched that back to Brendan Clark, it looks like he might have played a bit of Gaelic football in his time.
I think with the way the midfield is so congested, we've seen already the real penetration from Sligo is going to come wide. Both fullbacks, Alan Keane and Ed Devore, and Green is doing very, very well. And I think if they keep the patience to get the ball out wide, that's the best hope of getting this opening goal.
Another clash of bodies, and the free kick goes to Sligo Rovers. The challenge on Owen Doyle by Owen Heary. A little bit of climbing there.
I think the arm did go across the shoulder. The referee was right. And again, it's a set piece. We spoke earlier. The breeze will make this difficult for Barry Murphy if they can get the ball in behind the back four, maybe towards the penalty spot. That would be the area to hit. Might take it away from the goalkeeper just.
The free kick comes in from Ryan. Pearce was there, but Ball in was just a little bit too far for him to get his head onto it. Green unable to get past Traynor, but Pearce is there, and now Green again. Good tackle by Mark Roster. We hear from the sideline that that yellow card for Russell was for persistent fouling rather than for the one offence. And it's Keane with the cross. Cronin got it away. But almost always it seems to be going to a Sligo player first, and this is Green. Good play by Brennan. We don't often see him doing his defensive duties well, and he was excellent there to dispossess the former Bohemians player. Now Cronin. Good ball into the space for Downs, who's got Traynor inside. There's a Sligo Rovers player down, Gavin Pearce. Play continuing though. The referee not stopped. Now he does stop the play. Gavin Pearce in a heap on the halfway line as Bohemians set off towards goal and looked like they might have a good chance.
I think he got a bang in the face here. Oh no, his ankle. He caught his ankle when he came to the ground. That's looked pretty sore. Sometimes when you're coming down and you just get your ankle twisted there, it can be very difficult. The pitch is a bit soft.
Gavin Pearce, who started here at Daleyman Park as a young man before going over to play for Blackburn Rovers in Mansfield. Now, what will Paul Cook do if Pearce is injured? The obvious person would be Derek Foran to come in, should Pearce be unable to continue.
I would imagine it'll be all right. It'll be sore for a few minutes, but the twist of the ankle, the ligaments, open the ligaments up. But
of course, another option is to bring on Conor Powell, former Bohemian, who's been on the bench for Sligo Rovers for the last few months.
yes, I mean, he could always put Danny Ventry back centre half. He's got a couple of options there, Paul Cook. And his brain is always working, Paul Cook. You can see him, he gets into the game, he gets very animated, very passionate. But he gets in with the tune of the game. He knows what's required. And I think he's saying to his players there, just keep the tempo high, keep moving the ball quickly.
Well, this doesn't look good for Sligo Rovers. Gavin Pearce, well, he's going to try and continue, but it is noticeable that Derek Foran is actually being prepared on the sideline. Headed away by Ger O'Brien. Cronin finds Cahill. Intelligent ball into Traynor. Throw-in goes to the team in red and black. Aidan Downs, that wasn't a good throw-in from Traynor. Asking a lot of a very quick striker. Well, that's a terrible kick out by Brendan Clark, and Chris Forrester onto this. Good movement by Stephen Hurley, and there's plenty forward here for Bowes, but the delivery was poor. Davern was there, and it's cleared away by Ryan. Oh, a little bit of hesitation, and Ollie Cahill was onto it quickly. Aaron Green stopped his run in reverse, and Ollie Cahill with the first real shot in anger for Bohemians this afternoon.
Well worth a shot. With this breeze, anything can happen, but there's a good patience about Bohemians, I have to say. They're sticking to the game plan very rigidly, very impressively, and now they're just starting to get little attempts to get forward. We've seen Traynor join Downs a couple of times. If Ollie Cahill can get down that left wing, you never know what Bohemians might just pull out of the bag.
Cahill with the header to Traynor. Ventry got it back for Sligo. Up the line by Alan Keane. Ger O'Brien got a very important touch, and it worked out nicely for him. Here's Cronin. Up to the feet of Downs. Now Traynor, and Downs over the top, trying to test Gavin Pearce and that dodgy ankle of his, but he did well, the centre half. That was good play, finding his keeper. Keane. Across to McGuinness. Davern. Joseph Doe has gone over to the far side. He's hardly been in the game, a real passenger in this match so far. Now McGuinness again. And Doe finding Ryan. The story of this Cup semi-final so far is this dogged persistence by Bohemians to prevent Sligo from getting their passing game going, and they've succeeded in that. And Doe tried to slip it up the line for Davern. Chris Forrester, though, was in a good position to cover, and Bohemians get the goal kick.
It's little situations like that, Stephen, but Bohemians are getting the break of the ball in little areas like that, which makes appear nothing on the surface, but as the semi-final develops, they become more and more important, and luck has a prominent part to play.
On the sideline, Eamon is with Jerry Carr.
Thanks, Stephen. Well, Jerry, your side probably haven't got it down and played it quite as much as you did this time last year.
No, it hasn't really happened so far. You know, you're not looking for excuses. Last year the pitch was lovely and greasy. Pat's obviously done his own work and left it nice and bobbly for us, so it's up to us to try and get it down and create a couple of chances. I'm not sure what was wrong with that goal there. We're still debating it on the bench. And you're looking for a bit of consistency from the referee. So at the minute he seems to be booking every Sligo player but no Bohemians player.
Okay, thanks, Jerry.
Chris Forrester thought about the long-range shot there because Brendan Clark was off his line. Here goes Mark Rossiter, and that's an excellent block by Richie Ryan, who tracked the run well, but it's a throw to Bowes. Forrester, slipped on the ball, that's not what he wanted, and now Joseph Doe can start the attack for Sligo. John Russell. Owen Doyle right on the offside line. Again the tackle comes in from Forrester. He's been very good so far, helping on Bohemians' right to stem the threat of Sligo's passing game. And Doe trying to get more involved, but Cronin was too strong for him. Looked like Doe went down rather easily there.
That's the sort of attention Bohemians have to play to players, good players like Joseph Doe, and Joseph has to be able to expect it. I mean, Joseph hasn't really been in the game. He seems to be waiting for the game to settle down, but really good players always influence the game, and this game needs Joseph Doe to influence as quickly as he can.
It's a massive week for Irish soccer. Shamrock Rovers with that important win last Thursday, the Cup semi-finals, and all the other league action. You can see it tomorrow night on MNS. RTE2 at 7:30. Killian Brennan, good ball into Traynor, chests it down to Downs, and the pacey Downs trying to take on Alan Keane. Good defending, but he's found Brennan, but Keane is in quickly to win it back for Sligo. Up to Owen Doyle, who is being held by Ger O'Brien, not spotted by the assistant on this near side, who was only a few yards away from it. Murphy clears, McGuinness winning nearly everything in the air. Ger O'Brien holding off Aaron Green, but O'Green has it now. Doyle came back from an offside position, he couldn't go for that.
We could see there, sorry Stephen, that the pitch is dried up quite considerably. It wasn't water before the game. Players are running with the ball like Ger O'Brien then, and getting caught under their feet, which, as Jerry Carr intimated, may be part of Pat Fenlon's plan.
Often sounds like sour grapes though when the opposing manager blames the pitch. It's the same for both sides, you just get out there and play.
But not every side have the same style of play, and Sligo really are almost irresistible when they play on a well-watered surface. So,
goal kick, good play again by Ger O'Brien. Not bad for a makeshift centre half. He's done really well so far.
Well, he's cool and he's calm and he sees things quickly. That's probably Ger O'Brien's greatest asset. He sees the picture very, very quickly, generally makes good decisions, and he keeps the game very, very simple. And in itself, that's a great talent to have.
The crowd a little hushed and expectant, hoping for something to cheer about. But will it be the Bows or the Sligo fans that'll be singing first? Brennan to Cahill. Downs did well to keep control, forced to go back to O'Brien. Off the chest of Cahill, Brennan, Downs, this is better from Bowes, but then a slip by Downs, and onto it goes Russell, and he's got plenty to his left. Joseph Doe, Davern's making a big run forward from left back, but immediately tracked by Chris Forrester. That ball was not out of play, but Forrester is there first, and then the free kick given away by Erla Davern for, well, I'm not quite sure what that was for.
Neither am I. It was a bad ball by Joseph Doe, though, that put Davern in. He put her out too far. He had to chase the ball. Gave the advantage then to Forrester, who tried to shield it from going by. I don't see what was wrong with that either.
Should have been allowed to play on. Bohemians won't mind though. Relief for them with 5 minutes to go to the interval. Green, more of an influence in the game since he came over to this side. Russell, Keane, and now Pearce, who seems to have shaken off that ankle knock he took earlier in the game. Very circumspect from Sligo Rovers. But they've always been a side who are happy to go back to keep possession. Not the best of balls though from Pearce. The wind taking that out of play.
It's very difficult to knock long balls with this breeze the way it is, but Sligo are not coming back. The midfield are not coming back looking for the ball in the way they normally do, and that's to do with the close attention Hurley, Cronin and Trainer. The 3 men in the middle of the park, Bohemians, are paying to their opposite numbers. Very, very effective.
Cahill sends it long, cleared by Pearce. The throw in from Brennan, Downs, and Green was back to win it for Sligo. Very busy football week coming up, and Champions League action will be with us on Wednesday. But Bohemians have won it again with Stephen Hurley, and it's Glenn Cronin. Look at Russell chasing back to try and get it for his side. We have another injury for Sligo. It's Aaron Green who's gone down, and the former Bohemians player getting the jeers from the home fans.
It was a great tackle by Stephen Hurley. Just get a vital touch to it there, because Green was going right for the heart of the Bohemians' defence, and that's exactly what Bohemians have been doing all through the afternoon so far. Whenever there's a doubt, they're in for the tackle, and invariably they're winning important balls.
Well, Aaron Green looks to be in as much pain as Gavin Pearce was, so let's hope that he can continue. He's twisted something the way he fell.
It's just hit.
Certainly it couldn't have been from the contact from Hurley.
No, it wasn't. It's coming and hit the ground. He hit the ground, he's hurt his hip because he was caught in full flight. We'll see it here. Just comes down on his hip there, and that's what's hurt him. But it's that sort of crisp tackling of Bohemians by that young man there, exemplify that is really the whole point of the afternoon so far. It's disrupted the rhythm of Sligo. It stopped them getting that flow going that not only is so appealing to the eye but so very effective in the game sense. And if Bohemians can keep this up and keep forcing Sligo back a little bit, they might get a very firm foothold in the game themselves.
Alan Matthews, Shelbourne's manager, who of course has his own cup semi-final ongoing with St. Pat's. The replay of that tomorrow night indeed in Richmond Park. He obviously has designs on playing one of these sides in the Aviva Stadium on November the 6th. And Doe finds Davern, the block by Forrester. He hasn't done much in an attacking sense, but Forrester has been brilliant for Bohemians defensively, as has Killian Brennan on this near side. Owen Heary under pressure, and Russell nips in for Sligo Rovers. Ger O'Brien is there with him. Some space for once for Joey and Doe. Forrester getting back. Now it's Richie Ryan. Just a couple of minutes to the interval. Pressure applied by Hurley on John Russell, and that's going to be the first Bohemians player booked today. He's probably picked up that yellow card for other tackles by his teammates more than for that particular one.
But again, I mean, the ball, Sligo are in good possession of the ball, Stephen. Let the game flow and then come back if you have to book. But we'll see it here. The ball has just gone away. Again, I think it's a harsh yellow.
Stephen Hurley, who started his career with UCD, he had a few years there. And that foul on Russell means he's the first Bohemians player in the book, joining Sligo's Pearce and Russell. We're into the final minute of what's been a very anxious first half, this cup semi-final. Ryan with the free kick. McGuinness got forward. The flag is raised for offside, presumably against Jason McGuinness, as he was in receipt of the free kick.
It was a good decision by the linesman, but it was a good ball in from Ryan and good movement. Perhaps a trifle early from McGuinness. But I think both managers will go in and have different team talks at half-time. Pat Fenton will be delighted. He'll be saying to the players to keep the same level of concentration, keep the same tight marking. Paul Cook will want his players to play at a much higher tempo, move the ball much quicker.
Well, Brennan's little flick inside didn't quite come off there. but a difficult skill to execute with the wind and the length of that kick by Barry Murphy. Nobody for Alan Keane to throw into. Now some movement. 2 minutes of added time, as you can see. Aidan Downs, and now Brennan taking on Green, but he was just pushed off the ball a little bit too easily for my liking.
You see how difficult it was to actually run with the ball, Stephen. The ball is bubbling up in the pitch. Doesn't suit players like Ryan there, because he wants to be able to get at the ball and run at defenders with it.
Brennan's header. Ventre just pumps it long into the Bohemians' half. Not the kind of cultured football we're used to seeing from Sligo Rovers, that's for sure.
No, but you've got to compliment Bohemians for that. That's the game plan, quite understandably, to break the flow of Sligo, keep the game slow, keep breaking up the action. They have done it very, very effectively, Bohemians. The onus is on Sligo to impose their game on it. Move it quickly.
Pearce to McGuinness. We're into the final minute of the added time. Davern back to McGuinness. And Doe, still the pressure being applied by Bohemians. You wonder if they've got the energy to keep this going for 90 minutes. And perhaps Sligo Rovers will get just a little bit more time on the ball when we get into the latter stages of this game. Not the best of balls from Ventre, cut out by Ollie Cahill. And this could be Sligo Rovers' last attack of the half. Onto it came Ventre, beaten by Glenn Cronin. One for Aidan Downs to chase, but Gavin Pearce has all the time in the world to pick out Brendan Clark. And there goes the half-time whistle. An anxious and fractious first half. Pat Fennan, though, will be the happier of the two managers, because his side have managed to keep Sligo Rovers scoreless. Russell was the last touch on the goal that was disallowed. Aaron Green with the shot that might have gone in had Russell not been offside. The half-time score in Dalymount Park: Bohemians 0, Sligo Rovers 0.
And you're very welcome back to Dalymount Park. Now, we were just mentioning just before the break there that there have been some yellow cards, questionable, some of them, and you want to make a point about Damien Hancock's officiating.
I think now from the message from the managers will have to be to the players that they've had 45 minutes to judge the pitch and the conditions. They've also had the same amount of time to see how the referee is performing. Yeah. Now, Damien's made the point several times, and we've echoed it here. He's given free kicks and certainly bookings at times that we didn't think they were deserved. So players now need to be aware of that. If one of these teams go down to 10 men, that could make all the difference. So as questionable as some of the decisions from the referee have been, the players can't play into their hands now, because they're responsible for what they do.
Yeah, but interestingly enough, Tony, when we think of all the free kicks that were conceded in that first half, very few of them were in dangerous positions. They were all around the middle of the park. We haven't really had many that were within striking distance of goal.
No real opportunities from either side from a set-piece situation. But, I think Richie's point is, when the referee's in that type of form and he's making those decisions, it's only a matter of time before someone does something silly around the box and you get that opportunity. For me, I think in the second half, Peter, I think, Sligo have to change things a little bit. I would be very surprised if in 15 minutes we see the same type of stuff, that you don't see someone like Kirby or Dillon or Cotaro come off the bench. Kirby's a great man for me to change the game, and with his form when he has come off the bench and played in recent weeks and over the last couple of months, I think he's a player that could open up Bohemians a little bit. So I don't think they'll leave it long for the likes of Joe and Doe to stay in this game.
Yeah, I suppose that's the thing.
They have
Paul
options.
Cook has better options.
They have options, and that's the biggest thing. Pat Fenlon doesn't. If something needs to be changed, 15, 20, 25 minutes to go, Paul Cook has the ability to do it and the resources to do it. Pat Fenlon at the moment doesn't look as if he has. Yeah, also the point was made in commentary that the game that Bohemians are having to play to try and contain Sligo, physically it's very demanding. It's very high energy stuff. We'll see how long they can last.
Okay, well, Sligo Rovers have made their way back out onto the pitch, and the fans there are waiting patiently behind the goal. We're hoping to see some action in the far goal mouth in this second half as Bohemians re-emerge now. It's just about time to hand you back to our match commentators here at Dalymount Park. It's Damien Richardson, first Stephen Alkin.
Thanks, Peter. Well, we all know that Sligo Rovers produced a fantastic performance to win here last season, but they also beat Bohemians the previous year in 2009 in a quarter-final replay after a 0-0 draw. So Bohemians have, let's just say, a little bit of revenge in mind, and they've certainly played in that first half. Like there's a lot of players out there who feel like they want to get one over on Sligo Rovers today, and why not? It's a cup semi-final, there's a huge prize at stake. Still 4 sides involved in this semi-final round of the FAI Ford Cup, with Shelbourne and St Pat's due to meet again tomorrow night. In the replay, that game will go to extra time and penalties if required, and should it stay at 0-0, well, the replay for this game will be on Tuesday in the showgrounds, and again that match will be decisive. Damien Hancock, we've had a very long half-time, and hopefully we can get a little bit better football than we had in the first half. No changes to either side. The side in 5th place, Bohemians, against the side currently in 2nd in the Premier Division of the Electricity League. But today it's all about the place in the final of the FAI Ford Cup, which will be played on Sunday, November the 6th. What a fantastic occasion it was last year when Sligo Rovers brought tens of thousands of their supporters to the Aviva Stadium for what was one of the best cup finals in years. Put out of play by Jason McGuinness. You can see the teams there at the bottom of the screen, just as they were when we started just over an hour ago. Roster's throw in to Cronin. And cleared away by Danny Ventre. Owen Doyle, though, the only one forward, and the other Owen. Owen Heary puts it out of play. Start of this second half, Aaron Green flitting around. Joseph Doe starting on the left-hand side for Sligo. Perhaps we'll see more from him. Irla Davran taking on Rossiter. Good little pass into Russell. A lot of Sligo players forward here, but nowhere for Russell to go. Forced across the face of goal to Gavin Pearce. Forward comes the centre half, that's good play, finds Owen Doyle. The cross from Keane, cleared away by Bohemian centre forward, Aidan Downs. More cloud cover in the second half. It's gone a bit cooler at Daleyman Park, and the breeze just with that little nip of winter, as you would expect in mid-October.
Hopefully, it's the weather is going cold. The game should heat up a little bit. I would expect certainly Paul Cook to have kicked a few backsides at half-time to get more from his players, because I think they let him down in the first half. And I would expect a different type of performance, because Paul Cook knows the style his team have got to play in. He will equally know they haven't played in that style, and if they don't change their attitude, they could find themselves in some difficulty.
I wonder, does Paul Cook ever wear a tracksuit top when he's had a football match?
He's from Liverpool.
We're wearing about 3 or 4 layers here. We're still feeling the chill. Mind you, we're a lot higher than he is. Cleared away by Owen Heary for a throw in to Sligo Rovers. Aaron Green has gone back over onto that right-hand side for Sligo. Joseph Doe on the left. Apart from that, it's all the same for the men in white. Keane finds Ryan. And Doe. Clipping it forward to Aaron Green. First touch wasn't bad. The challenge from Ollie Cahill was pretty severe. Caught Aaron Green. Now, will there be a yellow card this time? We've seen cards given for tackles like that in the first half, but not this time.
Well, the ball is there to be won, but Ollie does certainly catch Green across the shin. It was an awkward attempt by Ollie there. And I think that is warranted the yellow card more than some we've seen. But
Richie Ryan standing over this free kick. Jason McGuinness with his albatross-like arms spread wide. All about the delivery here, and it's a good one to the far post. The touch was poor from Owen Doyle, and the chance is gone for Sligo. Davran. Back to Keane. Movement by Russell again. Pulls Owen Heary out of the centre. Davran to Endo. The 1-2 though not coming off, and for Joseph Ndo, this has been one of those big matches that he just would want to forget.
Well, he's experienced enough to be able to overcome it. It's the ball in, the first touch by Owen Doyle, all on his own, is very, very poor indeed, and in a semi-final it's not what you would want.
Green finds Ndo. Chris Forrester doing well again. Tackling as well was Aidan Downs. The free kick though to Sligo Rovers.
Again, it's the close attention that Joseph Ndo and the rest of the Sligo players are getting. It's a good area to have a free kick. Joseph right for upper rim, the breeze behind him in over that penalty spot there. We can see John Russell just trying to edge a little bit in there.
6 Sligo Rovers players in the penalty area. Great pace on this cross. McGuinness was in there. Barry Murphy didn't know much about it, and it was cleared away by Owen Heary. Good chance that for Sligo Rovers. Excellent delivery by Ndo. Cronin. Downs. Sent forward by Traynor.
It's a good ball in, perhaps a little bit, just a bit too much on it. Keeper should have really come and collected the ball a little bit earlier. Took a chance there, Barry Murphy.
Here's Owen Doyle. And now Aaron Green. Little 1-2 with John Russell, flag raised. I think it was Russell who was offside there.
Yes, you're right. But it signifies how quicker Sligo Rovers are moving the ball. Paul Cook applauded that little move there because it was done quickly, and that's exactly what the Bohemians have got to do.
Bohemian still trying to keep things as tight as possible. Sligo Rovers with so many options on the bench. We've said that before. The ball forward from Green there, looking for the run of Doyle, but again it was overhit. The danger here for Sligo Rovers with the wind at their backs is that they'll overhit those passes and they'll sail through to the keeper. Heary was looking for Traynor, went straight to McGuinness. Offside. One of the Sligo Rovers players, I think it was Owen Doyle, was coming back from an offside position.
The wind is quite peculiar. It's blokes quieting down at the moment, then they'll come very, very strong. The players really haven't been able to handle it so far.
Free kick finds the head of Chris Forrester. Doe was in quickly with the tackle, but the throw-in goes to Bowes. Some encouragement for their fans over in the Jody stand. Mark Roster takes it to Traynor. Taking on Ryan, ran into the tackle of Ndo. Traynor showed good strength. Roster tried to dig out the cross, but he couldn't get his foot around the ball.
Good play by Bohemians there, but again, it's just getting the ball into the box. Bohemians are going to have to be very, very patient this half. I think all they can hope to do is when they get a chance to put a better ball in than that, but wait for the chance to come and maybe get that all-important opening goal and really put a test up to Sligo Rovers.
O'Brien couldn't get that away, but here he did. Straight to Ryan. Ndo. He had the option to play Davern, then he does with the little back heel. Russell stayed onside. Heary coming across to challenge. That was a clumsy tackle indeed from behind. It's going to be a free kick to Sligo.
Unnecessary free kick, Stephen, by Owen there. There was no need to go try and win the ball. He had to do is hold the player up, arm in the back. See it here. Silly free kick.
And all this is just bringing more and more pressure onto the Bohemians' defence. Several free kicks they've had, and the Sligo Rovers fans away to our right, well, they're in full voice, fully expectant that this free kick from Joseph Ndo might lead to something. Good movement in the box, so that free kick looks to be too far, but they have won a corner kick off the head of Ger O'Brien.
Good defending with Ger O'Brien. Captain Pearce is on his own right over the far post, and he just kept his eye on the ball, Ger.
Eventually you feel one of these dead ball situations is going to lead to an opening for Sligo Rovers. The referee just talking to the players about pushing and shoving in the box. It's Ryan who'll take the corner. Pearce got up well, but there was pushing, and that's going to be a free to Bowes in relief for Pat Fenlon's side.
There have been a few free kicks already, and the pressure is building up on Bohemians. If Sligo Rovers can manage to keep this pressure on for a good period of time, really test the ball's rear guard, but it's still a tough task for Bohemians, you have to say.
Matthew Blinkhorn warming up for Sligo Rovers, though not particularly vigorously. The entire Bohemians defence is made up of teenagers, not one player over 20. So no matter what Pat Fenlon does from his 7 substitutes, he's not going to be able to bring in anybody of the calibre of the likes of Blinkhorn, Kirby or Dillon. Now this one stays in play for Joseph Doe, and it's Roster trying to get back. Good movement by Davron, the left back. The cross straight across the goal, and here he was the one perfectly positioned to clear it away. Ryan. Back to McGuinness. Clark thought about throwing it to Gavin Pearce, but Traynor was pushing forward. Was that a push by Ger O'Brien? Referee allows play to continue. Owen Doyle, who has some pace, and Alan Keane quickly onto it. Not the best of touches from a man you expect to get in some very telling crosses from that position.
Bad decision. It was a good ball from Doyle. All he had to do is put it in the box. He tried to do Owen Hearty. Owen Hearty cleverly just stepped in front of him. Bad first touch, as you say.
Owen Hearty, who is the coach of the A team here at Dalymount Park, in addition to his duties as captain of the first team. Apparently he's doing a great job. A lot of that A team were in the Leinster Senior Cup final last Monday. Lost to St. Patrick's Athletic, but it was an extremely young team. Good experience for those youngsters. Russell finds Joseph Doe. Davron galloping up on the outside. Russell did well, but Doe might shoot here. At last a shot on target from long range, and Joseph Doe the one to provide it. Easy save for Barry Murphy.
But at least Joseph Doe is coming into the game. It's the first real shot on target we've had. Hit with that real venom, but keeper was right behind it all the way. But if Sligo are going to do something, they need this man and Doe in the game.
Strong confrontation in the centre there between Danny Ventry and Stephen Hurley. No quarter given or asked when those two come together.
No yellow cards out, Stephen. A little bit of a change in attitude from Damien Hancock, I'm glad to say, because he's letting the game flow now. That was a definite free kick.
And Killian Brennan's the one who's standing over it. That trusty left boot. Owen Hearty trying to get round the back, forcing Gavin Pearce to head aimlessly, and Hearty is there again for Bowes. Pearce eventually clears straight to Brennan. Quickly closed down by Russell. Keane's header away, looking for Aaron Green. Battling over there is Hurley and Brennan did well. Killian Brennan, one of the most experienced players for Bohemians. He needs to step up as well if Bohemians are to find a winner. Good play by Cronin, quickly into the feet of Downs, but he needed a couple of touches to get it under control. Now Chris Forrester taking on Davron, who got the tackle in, gets the pass back from Russell. Good movement by Joey Doe, but again Forrester did extremely well, and he's found the run of Downs behind Ventry, pulled back across the goal. McGuinness was there. Only one Bohemians player in the box, and that was Stephen Traynor. Good header away by Ger O'Brien. Just signs that the game is beginning to flow a bit better. More pace in it since half-time. Russell has Keane, but Brennan is back to cover, and that's gone straight to Gavin Pearce. Once again, the sunshine illuminating this occasion at Dalymount Park as Doyle tries to get on the end of that long ball from Pearce. Barry Murphy was very cool there.
Just ran away from Doyle with the breeze behind him there, just a fraction. Keeper did well to his credit, timed it to perfection. But I think you're looking at young Stephen Hurley, and I think the pace is beginning to tell in a few of the younger players. It's will it affect their concentration is the real key. So far, Bohemians are still in this game. You've got to believe all the way that they can cause an upset. But Sligo are better in the second half.
O'Brien heads it out of play. Throw into Sligo Rovers. The cup holders. and a team who have had success at last under Paul Cook. Perhaps the league is gone this year, but they were pushing Shamrock Rovers the whole way, and they still are. Rovers still need 3 points to be certain of the title. Pearce looking for Doyle. Here he heads it away. Hurley couldn't control it. Onto it came the other number 6, Richie Ryan, and that's going to be a Bohemians throw in this time.
Those little things are still going for Bohemians, and Sligo have to be mindful of that in the cup semi-final. Sometimes severe underdogs get a little bit of a break, get a goal and can win it on that. Sligo have to be very, very alert, very diligent when they're defending.
Trainer trying to work the 1-2, but Danny Ventre was back doing the covering. Forced to take it away from goal. Trainer with his arms out, but there was no real contact, and the throw-in goes to Bowes in front of their fans over there. Perhaps they're sensing that there might just be an upset on the offing here. No disrespect to Bohemians, but they really are big underdogs today. The cross is a good one. It's headed away by Irla Davern. First to it was Stephen Hurley, picking out the pass to get Forrester, and now Cronin on the run. Ventre tracking that. Two very similar players, Cronin and Ventre wins the free kick for the push by the Bohemians player.
It's a very honest battle between these two players, which sums up the battle in the middle of the park between both teams. Full of effort, full of honesty, full of genuine and impressive effort.
Paul Cook has just called Matthew Blinkhorn to the bench, which probably means that the centre forward is going to come on very shortly. Most of the noise coming from the Sligo Rovers fans at the school end of the ground. For those of you who know your Daleyman Park, that's away to our right. Hurley sent it forward, and Keane got it back to Clark. Powerful header by Ger O'Brien, but straight to Ventre. McGuinness with a poor ball, but the idea was applauded by Joseph Doe, who knows he was trying to do the right thing.
But the midfield player was closed down by Bohemians, forcing Sligo to go back all the time.
Great pressure applied there by Forrester and Hurley. The lack of influence by Doe and Ryan in this game, most unusual for Sligo Rovers. But here's Aaron Green trying to take on Ger O'Brien. Super defending by the centre-back. He has done a marvellous job in a position that he's not very used to playing. Great movement forward this time by Trainer. And now Downs trying to get up to support. Not too many forward for Bohemians, but now Forrester can join in. Brennan is at the far post. Sends it across to Ollie Cahill. He's got Hurley on the outside. Good pressure applied by Alan Keane, forcing him backwards. Now Cronin. Much better play this from Bohemians. Forrester, who looks an intelligent player, into the feet of Cronin. Oh, he tried to send it to Downs, but he'd come too short, and that chance for Bowes was lost. But here's Trainer again, and Downs. And now Rossiter with a good ball up the line to Trainer, who was looking for Downs. Late challenge on Richie Ryan. But that's probably one of the best spells we've seen from Bohemians in the whole game.
The longer the game goes without a goal, the more it suits Bohemians. Sligo will get more and more nervous. Substitution being made now, an indication of the fact that Paul Cook is not happy with what's happening in his team.
John Russell, one of the players who went into the book in the first half, being replaced by Matthew Blinkhorn. So two front men for Sligo Rovers now, Blinkhorn and Doyle playing alongside each other.
I think it's a sensible option. I'll tell you why, Steve, because the middle of the park, Ryan and Ventre have been closed down very, very much and very, very quickly. So it will allow Sligo to go a little bit more direct, particularly with the breeze behind them. That might just help them a little bit.
Matthew Blinkhorn, who has got quite a few goals this season, 10 in the Premier Division, but he hasn't scored any against the clubs who've been fighting for the championship. Most of his goals scored against weaker opposition, but he is a very good old-style centre-forward, holding the ball up and bringing other people into play. Forrester finds Traynor, gets away from the challenge of Indo. Cronin to Rossiter. Bowes growing in confidence without a doubt. And now Cronin into the path of Rossiter. Good block though by Owen Doyle. Not afraid to come back and do his defensive work. Blinkhorn now the lone striker, at least while Bohemians are attacking. Forrester did well, good feet, good tackle too by Irla Davrin. Looking for Blinkhorn, wonderful first touch to keep that under control. Tackle from behind by Heary. That might have been a free kick, but the referee lets it go on. Tears beaten in the air for once by Downs, but McGuinness cleared it away. Forrester to Traynor, good movement by Brennan. Oh, it's a pity that pass wasn't a bit sharper. That was great movement by Bohemians, and they had the Sligo defence stretched there.
It was the lack of experience of Stephen Traynor there to be calm and collected. But in saying that, you were right, Bohemians are getting a little bit more of the ball. They've an extra man in the middle of the park. Can they use that extra man to their full advantage?
Another switch coming for Sligo Rovers, and it's John Dillon who's going to be introduced. And I think it's Danny Ventre who might be coming off. Little arm over the shoulder of Rossiter there. Yes, Danny Ventre is coming off for Sligo Rovers. One of the powerhouses in the middle of the field for the northwest side, and John Dillon coming on. Dillon, who has 8 goals already this season.
Move Joseph Indo into the middle of the park. A little bit more creativity in there. Richie Ryan will sit back and allow Joseph to be the main attacking man from the middle of the park.
McGuinness gets it away. Throw into Bowes. Rossiter takes it. Half cleared by McGuinness, but straight to Cronin, who actually thought of a volley from long range on his weaker left foot. Now Ollie Cahill trying to get past John Dillon. Cahill blocked by Dillon. Stephen Hurley first to react. Still buzzing around, full of energy. Good movement by Downs, gets there ahead of Gavin Pearce. And that was good tackling, but also good play by Bowes, keeping the ball up here in the Sligo half. McGuinness couldn't tackle there. Traynor, now Downs, blocked by Pearce. And Brendan Clark happy to clear to the halfway line. The flick on goes straight to Alan Keane, but Ollie Cahill is there. And now it's the Bohemians fans who are making the noise. This is turning into a good cup tie. To be honest, the second half couldn't have been as poor as the first, but it often works like that. It takes a while for players to settle down. Rossiter the one who cleared there.
It's a very interesting battle now in the middle of the park. The key for Sligo will be, can they get Joseph Indo in that congested area on the ball to create something from there. So far, they have failed spectacularly from the middle of the park today.
Davran to Blinkhorn, but he couldn't find Doyle. And then Doyle pushed Owen Heary. Free kick to the Gypsies. Killian Brennan looking for the run of Aidan Downs. Brendan Clark quickly off his line. Good goalkeeping. And bowling it out to Alan Keane. Oh, that's a terrible ball. Straight to Glenn Cronin. And then Killian Brennan was dwelling on it. Dillon was in to win it. Chance here for Sligo Rovers. Owen Doyle, who has pace, got past the tackle of Cahill, but Ger O'Brien again in the right place at the right time. Joseph Indo sliding in to win it back for Sligo Rovers. Davran. Forrester trying to stop him, and Forrester doing well, but Davran still has the possession. Third tackle in a row from Forrester. What a game youngster he is. Chris Forrester is just 18 years old. He's done really well this season, signed last year from that great soccer nursery Belvedere. So many of these Bohemians youngsters come from that club. Indo switching to Gavin Pearce. Dillon has gone wide right. Little flick from Richie Ryan, gets it back from Doyle. Chance for Green to cross. That was great play by Sligo Rovers. Best passing move we've seen from them, and Blinkhorn was only inches away from giving them the lead.
Ominously, Sligo moving into gear. This is the Sligo Rovers we know and love. Wonderful 1- and 2-touch football. Good ball in. Blinkhorn just tantalisingly close, but not close enough to get a toe on the ball.
Eamon Donoghue is on the sideline with Liam O'Brien.
Yeah, thanks, Stephen. Liam, it's end-to-end stuff now.
It is, yeah. I think the first 10 minutes of the second half, they had a little bit more possession than us, and they started much more brightly than us. But I think in the last 10 minutes, we've come back into the game a little bit more. So we're happy the way things are going at the moment. They've gone now 2 up front, so we have to go and nullify that a little bit.
Thanks, Liam.
That's the tactical switch maybe the Bohemians are thinking about. With 2 up front for Sligo, what can Bohemians do to stem this white surge?
Well, the first thing you've got to do is Heary and O'Brien will be under a lot more pressure now. Gerard O'Brien has been magnificent, Heary's been very good. The real test now lies ahead of them. But in a game for Sligo, they've got to get the ball to Blinkhorn and to Doyle, get more balls into the box in a controlled manner rather than just humping them in there.
Pearce and McGuinness await this free kick from Joseph Doe. The movement across the face by Aaron Green. It's over the head of Owen Heary, and it's cleared away by Stephen Hurley. Davern was there, flicked on by Ryan. Off the head of Heary, the goalkeeper hesitated. Now Blinkhorn onto it, and that's going to be a corner kick.
Owen
Second
Heary
for Sligo in this half, their third in all.
wanted something from his goalkeeper there. A bit of talk from Barry Murphy there would have helped sort Owen Heary out there. Blinkhorn was quickly onto it, engineered a corner kick.
McGuinness in the 6-yard box, causing problems for the goalkeeper. Driven in low and hard, and that was a foul by Blinkhorn as Stephen Traynor tried to get it away. In fact, it was Killian Brennan, my apologies. Brennan did really well there.
Brilliant header, brilliant defensive header, very, very brave by Killian Brennan. Referee quite right to give a free kick. But it was a good ball in. So there's all the experience that Brennan required there, and the bravery.
Killian Brennan, who's the top scorer for Bohemians of the players on the pitch today. Of course, don't forget they're missing Fagan and Flood, their 2 top scorers this season. Huge loss for Bohemians. And also Burns and Price. But they will all be back for the replay should it come. But here comes Green, and that's great play again by Gerard O'Brien. Composure on the near post and driving it away.
So far, Bohemians are coming up with the answers to everything Sligo throw at them. Can they keep it up though? That's the most important question. 18 minutes to go, long, long way.
Keane, cross, blocked by Brennan. Another corner to Sligo Rovers. We've almost run out of the counting machine on how many dead ball situations Sligo Rovers have had since the half-time break.
You would expect Jason McGuinness being picked up by Owen Heary to be on the move across the 6-yard box here.
And here he is following McGuinness. It's headed away by Brennan again. Now Dillon. Forced to go wide to Richie Ryan. Bought himself some time with that turn. Pearce, chance, goal! Jason McGuinness. And it's against his former side, and McGuinness celebrates the goal that might send his side to the Aviva Stadium next month. Finally, the Bohemians' defence is breached, and it all came from this corner.
Well, it was this ball in from Richie Ryan. There's Jason McGuinness all on his own. Unlike Doyle a few moments ago, his first touch is good. It sets up the second touch. He's falling. He throws his leg out. The keeper comes in a despairing dive. Can't do anything. This is a vital goal for Sligo Rovers.
Jason McGuinness, I'm surprised he celebrated the goal. He spent so much time here at Daleyman Park playing for Bohemians. That's his 3rd goal this season. He scored in the 3rd round against Pike Rovers. His second, in fact, he scored 2 goals that day. That's 3 goals in the FAI Ford Cup for Jason McGuinness. And this the most vital one in the semi-final against Bohemians. Now the tactics will have to change for Pat Fenlon's side. Can they change their way of playing and find a way back, or will Sligo Rovers run away with it now? Offside flag raised against Matthew Blinkhorn.
There is not a lot Pat Fenlon can actually do. We've looked at his bench. It's very young, not too many attacking options for him. He won't panic. He will just keep a quiet coolness for a few minutes, see how the game is going, see what he can do, ponder carefully what he can do.
You feel sorry for Pat Fenlon, who, of course, led Bohemians to the double and then a second league title before they narrowly lost last year to Shamrock Rovers on the final day of the season. But their resources completely shorn this year, and they've had to let go so many of their best players, including the likes of Jason McGuinness and Aaron Green, who are in opposition to them today.
And a great pressure on the likes of Stephen Traynor to try and get up there with Aidan Downs. Sometimes in a while Pat will say, forget about the defensive duties, we have to go for an equaliser, but I don't feel he will do it yet, because the second goal for Sligo and this game is gone from Bohemians.
And Sligo Rovers not in any hurry to take this dead ball throw in. Paul Cook saw his side lose to Sporting Fingal, having taken the lead in the Tallaght Stadium in 2009. Last year, the dramatic victory against Shamrock Rovers. Could they be on their way to an historic third cup final in a row?
It would be a great achievement. 3 cup finals in a row. Something you look back fondly in years to come, but really the real important point is to win this game.
And of course they've also won the Setanta Cup and the League Cup under Cook's management. The big prize though still eludes them, but still chasing for that league crown should Shamrock Rovers falter in the closing weeks of the season. Bohemians are going to make their first change. And it's Stephen Hurley who's going to come off to be replaced by Keith Buckley, a player who's had plenty of first-team opportunities this season. Fresh legs required in the engine room for Bohemians. They've been under the cosh a lot since half-time. And against a side as good as Sligo and as experienced as them, it's going to be really hard for them to battle their way back into this contest.
And a young man coming on, Keith Buckley, big onus on him, a lot be required from him, but we have to be realistic and understand very tender years. But Hurley has performed very, very well, it has to be said. He's given everything he possibly can. Pat Fenlon will be delighted with the contribution of this young man.
Keith Buckley, just 19 years old, another of the Belvedere Academy. He only made his debut back in March. Poor free kick. And that's possession back to Bohemians and their goalkeeper, Barry Murphy.
Buckley has gone into the position right behind Aidan Downs. Trainer's gone back into the middle of the park with Glenn Cronin.
Free kick given away there by Killian Brennan for the foul on John Dillon.
It's really up to Sligo though, Stephen. They're in the ascendancy. They've got enough experience and quality to control the game and see it out from here on in and actually get that second goal. Keep the pressure on Bohemian. Don't let them attack them. Don't let them get into the Sligo half too often.
Well, the bit of red fans are celebrating already, but they might be just a little bit premature with plenty of time to go here. Ollie Cahill tidying up for Bohemians. Barry Murphy looking at his options. Forrester was pushed by Gavin Pearce. Free kick to Bohemians, and you feel that a dead ball situation like this might be their best chance of getting back into the game.
Yes, exactly, a good observation, because even though the experience that Gavin Pearce is, there was always going to be an element of anxiety in it. They've got a goal up in the semi-final. It's so close to the final, and yet they've got to keep cool heads. Don't give silly free kicks away.
Mark Roster standing over this free kick and driving it very hard into that wall and winning the corner for Bohemians. This their first of the game, and it's come 34 minutes into the second half.
A good wall there. This hits Richie Ryan, if I'm not mistaken. Very, very brave of Richie Ryan. Doesn't flinch, doesn't step back from his responsibility.
Only Joseph Doe staying forward for Sligo Rovers. It's a cluttered penalty area as the corner comes in. Back post for Brennan, chance for Bowes. McGuinness managed to get it away under his own crossbar, and now the break for Joseph Doe with Ollie Cahill, the last man for Bowes. Back it goes to Barry Murphy. as so often happens in cup ties, the final 15 minutes can often be the most exciting. Hang on to your hats. Anything can happen here at Daleyman Park. Doyle is onside here. No, he's not. Late flag raised on the far side. I thought he was away. Alan Lynch, the assistant referee, was just waiting to see if he got the pass.
It's that modern fashion of holding your flag down. Drives us all crazy, you know, but here's a clever header by Killian Brennan. Very, very dangerous situation. Jason McGuinness does exceptionally well here, using every inch of his 6'2". Get that ball away.
Eamon Donoghu's on the sideline with Jerry Carr.
Yeah, thanks, Stephen. Jerry, you've got the goal. It's time for cool heads now, I think.
It is, yeah. It's been a typical cup tie, hasn't it? I do think we've been in the ascendancy for the majority of the game. Fair play to Bowes that they're still having a go. We've passed it a bit better this half. Made a couple of substitutions to try and influence it, and we've got the goal. So see if we can hold on to it and keep trying to pass the ball.
Thanks, Jerry.
And that's exactly what Bohemians will be trying to do as well. They need to hold on to the ball, and they obviously need to find players in black and red shirts, and they've got another free kick here for the foul by Joseph N'Doh.
If this game stays true to its particular personality, it'll be a nervous 10 minutes for Sligo Rovers, because they're not defending particularly well. They're giving away too many free kicks, and anything can happen yet.
And it probably will. Downs heads it inside. Heary back to Brennan. The substitute, Buckley, trying to make it difficult for Davron, but he got it away well. Nobody forward for Sligo Rovers now. Rossiter into the penalty area again. Out comes Clark, beaten to it by Owen Heary. No foul. Back in by Cronin. But Blinkhorn was there for Sligo Rovers, and that outball really should have found John Dillon. So Bowes will get possession again. Brendan Clark was really put off there.
I don't know what he was doing, Brendan. He came too far out of his goal. Let your centre-halves deal with those balls.
Rossiter. On it goes from Hurley. Rossiter surely won't get to this. The goal scorer McGuinness, though, with a feeble clearance. And it's more possession for Bohemians, who are certainly getting more of the ball now.
Yes, here's the ball in for the goalkeeper. It's not his ball. Makes a mess of it.
Well, you have to credit Owen Heary for his strength in the challenge.
Yes, but I'm saying about Sligo being nervous, there's an illustration with the goalkeeper coming out and not being totally definite.
Brendan Clark, who is keeping last year's cup final hero Kieran Kelly on the bench, former Sporting Fingal and St. Pat's player. Fine goalkeeper. And those Sligo fans behind him are urging him to send it as far down the field as he can. Doyle might try one here. Good save by Barry Murphy. Blinkhorn with the header down. Doyle with the volley. Easy save in the end for Murphy.
But that's what Sligo have been lacking all afternoon. That presence up front to really put Owen Heary under pressure. He lays it back. Doyle hits it very, very well. But I still think he'd have been more advised to go to the right wing and keep possession of the ball.
And while we were looking at that, free kick won by Bowes. Hurley trying to take on Davron. Roster in support. Cross curling to the far post. Downs got his head to it. Cleared away, but only as far as Brennan. And good play by Alan Keane, who was trying to get away, and that's going to be a yellow card. I think it's Ollie Cahill. Yeah, Ollie Cahill caught Alan Keane late. Second Bohemians player to be booked this afternoon.
I think both players full intent and realising the importance of the ball coming out. Both wanted to get it for their team. Sligo player just got it ahead of Ollie Cahill there. Referee, I think, correct in that instance. But to full credit to the Bohemians, they're really pushing people forward. Even Owen Heary is joining in every possible opportunity. This game is not over yet.
It certainly isn't, and Paul Cook, who was a nervous-looking man before the game, as most managers are before cup semi-finals, he's probably having conniptions right now.
Well, you know why he doesn't wear anything else. His blood is pulsating through his body.
There's 7 minutes to go. And Roster with a fine headed ball forward finds Aidan Downs, who has battled gamely the whole game. Goes down under the challenge of Jason McGuinness. It's going to be a throw in to Sligo Rovers. Well, it's a huge week for Irish soccer, and on M&S tomorrow night you can see all the highlights of the activity of the last week, including the cup semi-finals and Shamrock Rovers win against Derry City. That's tomorrow at 7:30 on RTE2. Matthew Blinkhorn coming back, every Sligo Rovers player behind the ball, as Bohemians prepare to make another substitution, and it's Kevin Feely who's going to come on. Another teenager, 19-year-old, who's gone through the FAI's Emerging Talent Programme a few years ago. And it's Mark Roster who's gone off, came into the game with an injury problem, and Feely will play the last 6 minutes or so. In goes the free kick. Here he's gone forward, pushing on McGuinness. Killian Brennan is furious that was a free kick. Two former Bohemians centre halves colliding there.
Well, you could see Owen Heary knew the bigger man was going to win the ball, just try to gamble a little bit and moving away from the ball. Referee quite right.
What a professional Owen Heary has been, especially in recent years for Bohemians, as his career has wound down, so to speak, but he's still winning trophies. Had such a great run as well, of course, with Sligo, with Shelburne back in the noughties. And now the referee urging Sligo Rovers to get on with it with 5 minutes to go. They won't be allowed to time waste their way into the final. Blinkhorn couldn't keep it in.
Sligo have got to try and get control of that ball, do what they do well.
Stolen from Trainer by Joseph and Doe. Brennan, though, has it for Bowes. Ollie Cahill looking for Downs. Onto it came Killian Brennan. Cleared away by Keane, but Downs is there for Bowes. You just sense that Bowes are going to get a couple more chances before the end. Cronin on from O'Brien to Heary, and back it goes to Ger O'Brien, and that was too easy for Sligo Rovers. They'll be happy to take the throw in. Anything will do for them.
Yes, Kevin Feely appears to have gone up front, and at the moment I couldn't really tell you what system Bowes are playing, because players are streaming forward every opportunity they can.
There's going to be another change for Sligo Rovers. Rafael Cretaro is going to come on, another of the former Bohemians players in the Sligo Rovers squad. Well, the Bohemians fans want Sligo to get on with it. The clock is ticking. Blinkhorn holding off Ger O'Brien. Goes out off the Bohemians player. Throw into Sligo Rovers.
Just what you want from your big centre forward, getting the ball, getting it throw in, getting free kicks down the other end of the field. Take the pressure off your defenders.
Aaron Green, who took a knock earlier in the game, is the one who's going to come off, and Rafael Cretaro will come on for the final 3 minutes or so. Cretaro, who spent a season here last year before returning to Sligo Rovers for his third spell in the Northwest. The man from Tubbercurry back with his hometown club, or rather his home region club at least. So Sligo with this throw in. Keen to take it. The run of Blinkhorn. The tackle from Cronin. Brennan squeezing it out to Trainer. Across the face of goal and cleared by Barry Murphy. Back it comes from Sligo, but straight to Hurley. Owen Heary did well to get the better of Raf Cretaro there, and then a foul by Cretaro, and another free kick to Bohemians, and straight away Owen Heary goes forward to supplement the attack. Everybody forward for Bowes. They might as well have a go with less than 2 minutes to go. Can they find an equaliser? Brennan drives it in. Brendan Clark goes for it. It could have gone anywhere. The keeper indecisive again. It was Feely who caused them the problems.
It was a tantalising, tempting ball for the keeper to come, but again, when you've got Jason McGuinness there, let him deal with those balls. Just stand behind him in case he misses anything, but McGuinness was quite willing to try and get his head on that one.
Stephen Traynor, who has run miles for Bohemians today, is the one to go off in the final minute of the game. And coming on is another of the teenagers, Gary Burke. We're running out of time at Daleyman Park. Can Sligo Rovers hold out? Burke trying to get involved. Forrester goes down. Foul committed by Davern. Another dead ball situation for Bohemians, and that can only mean one thing: everybody forward.
And literally everybody. I'm surprised the keeper's not come up for this one. Everybody's in there. Killian Brennan, great left foot on him. Can he produce a moment of magic?
And can somebody get on the end of Brennan's free kick? Curling into the far post. Clark goes for it, and Clark catches. And it's the Sligo fans behind his goal who are cheering that play. Good catch by Brendan Clark.
Yes, when you need a keeper, despite a couple of dodgy moments, courage of his convictions to come. But this ball, this was his, keeps his eyes on it, gets his hands on it. Excellent goalkeeping.
We're going to have 4 minutes of added time, which we have just started at Daleyman Park. Sligo Rovers with some more work to do. Blinkhorn. Keane with the cross. It came off a Bohemians player. It's a corner to Sligo Rovers, their 5th of the game. Well, it's been a fantastic game, and if Sligo Rovers can hold on, well, they'll be on the way to the cup final. But Damien Richardson, who is your man of the match?
Well, Gerard O'Brien has been quite magnificent for Bohemians, and he's pushing me in my thoughts all through the afternoon. But really, I have to go for Jason McGuinness. He's made that vital breakthrough, scored the all-important goal, had a good afternoon, but the goal is the real contribution of the afternoon. So I go for Jason McGuinness.
And Jason McGuinness, the forward man of the match for this semi-final afternoon at Daleyman Park. Sligo Rovers perhaps on their way to another famous victory on this ground. Of course, they won the cup final here in 1983, and perhaps this the scene of their 3rd win against Bohemians in a row. Though Bohemians have done well against them in the league, in the cup, Sligo have had the whip hand in the last few years. 2nd minute of stoppage time. Over the head of Doyle and off the head of Feely, and out of play for a goal kick to Sligo.
Inexperience of young Feely there, got up very, very well, but instead of heading it back across the goal mouth, got it all wrong. Put it out for a goal kick, which will greatly relieve Sligo Rovers.
Sligo Rovers, who beat Pike Rovers in the 3rd round. Monaghan United after a replay in the 4th round. Shamrock Rovers famously in the cup quarter-final, and now just minutes away from defeating Bohemians in the semi-final. Still a couple of minutes to go though, and Bows will keep battling all the way. Barry Murphy forced to play it. Driven long by O'Brien. Feely's underneath it. Good header on to Downs. Forrester trying to get into the penalty area. Pears was a big, big barrier in front of the young man, and he's won the free kick for that foul by young Aidan Downs, and you wonder if that's Bohemian's last chance.
Experience overcomes inexperience here. We'll see the greater experience of Gavin Dykes recognising the situation quickly.
Gavin Dykes, he was the captain for Sligo Rovers when they won the cup back in the 90s.
Gavin Pears.
He's the modern day hero, the man who got the winning goal here last year. How amazing that 2 centre-halves should get the winning goals for Sligo Rovers.
Both synonymous with the great success of Sligo down the years.
Final minute of added time. Blinkhorn with the flick on. Doyle away. No offside this time. He was going to leave it for Kotaro, and then Kotaro left it for him. And between all that hesitation, Bohemians got the bodies across. Ollie Cahill dragged his 36-year-old legs across and managed to snuff out the threat.
Have to congratulate Bohemians though for a wonderful effort on their part. Very limited resources. Every player did themselves proud. This situation here was just, again, a little bit of the anxiety and the frustration of the afternoon. Owen Doyle got to be very much more sensible than that, really.
Owen Doyle and the substitute Keith Buckley, both getting yellow carded in the final minute. Didn't seem to be much there, but the referee deciding to issue 2 more cards to bring the count up to 6. 3 aside, but it won't matter a jot if the final whistle goes and Sligo Rovers find they're the first team to make it to this year's cup final. Rafael Pitaro with the throw. We've played over 4 minutes of stoppage time now. The referee's final whistle goes. It's a famous day for Paul Cook and Sligo Rovers. Pat Fenlon's side had to bow to the greater force, the better players and the more experienced lineup that Paul Cook could put on the pitch, and it's the Sligo fans who are celebrating at the school end. Jason McGuinness with the all-important goal, the man of the match performance from him, the former Bohemian coming back to Dalymount Park to torment his former club, and from Sligo Rovers, well, you could probably say they just about edged it.
Yes, they did. I mean, they did not play well. They'll realise that. But a semi-final is essentially about winning, and they came up with just enough from Jason McGuinness to win it. They deserved it without shadow of doubt, because in the performance of the second half, they upped the tempo. They were far better, but still nothing near their real potential. And Pat Fenlon knows his team have given it everything. He can be very proud of his players, but they just didn't have enough, and Sligo had that little bit extra all over the park.
Alan Keane can look forward to another huge day in Dublin 4 when these Sligo fans can come once more to make a wonderful occasion. The cup final for 2011 will be between Sligo Rovers and either St Patrick's Athletic or Shelbourne, who play their replay tomorrow night. The Sligo fans celebrating with their team. Jason McGuinness's vital goal from Richie Ryan's corner on 73 minutes. That's what separated the sides. The final score in Dalymount Park: Bohemians 0, Sligo Rovers 1.
Yes, so Sligo Rovers, as Stephen said, have booked their place in the final. Sunday the 6th of November it will take place at the Aviva Stadium, and of course the winner of tomorrow night's replayed semi-final between Shelbourne and St Patrick's Athletic will see them there. And I don't think we'll be hearing from the Sligo Rovers manager Paul Cook for a while yet, because he's gone down to celebrate with the Sligo Rovers fans. But they've replicated the result of last season, a 1-0 victory over Bohemians at Dalymount Park, and once again it's a centre half who has done the damage. Jason McGuinness, a former Bows player, getting the all-important goal. It was Gavin Pearce last season who did it for them, and Tony as a former centre half. You'll be pleased that once again a centre half comes up and shows the forwards how it's done, but they deserved it, didn't they?
They did. I mean, you know, the scoreline 1-0, it looks like it's quite tight, but to be honest, I think Sligo overall really deserved it. I mean, we wondered at half-time, could they step it up a gear and create more goal-scoring opportunities, and I think they did that in the second half. It wasn't a vintage Sligo performance by any stretch of the imagination, but I think they did enough, and they had a bit of quality in the second half, which really differentiated them from the Bows team today. You know, it was a good opportunity to take the game, but we saw early in that second half they had a few set-piece opportunities. We talked about it at half-time that maybe that would be the turning point in the game, because the referee was given a lot of half and half decisions, and they were resulting in free kicks, and that proved to be the decisive moment in the game.
Yeah, and we did see, Richie, flashes of what Sligo Rovers are capable of. I mean, they did string together some nice passing movements during that second half.
It was, and frustratingly we only saw flashes, as you said. We know they can do that for 90 minutes, but they just didn't get the opportunity today, and that's down to the work rate of the midfield, particularly by the Bows players, particularly by the midfield Bows players, who were very disciplined and worked very hard. And just towards the end of the game, I think they run out of steam. Pat Fenlon had to make 3 changes, but the lads he brought on were all kids, which is the point we made at half-time. If things aren't going your way and you want to change something, you'd much rather have Paul Cook's substitutes benched than Pat Fenlon.
And I suppose it also is a reminder of how costly suspensions can be, because 3 players suspended for Bohemians, and they would have been 3 players who would have started. And considering how close that game was, it may have cost them a place in this final.
Well, that's it, you know, and you look at it, I think that was part of Bohemian strategy today. That might seem a little foolish statement, you know, going back up to the showgrounds and having your 3 players available again, but honestly, you know, although the players that came in did very well, I think the bit of quality that they had in that starting lineup, and then having, as you mentioned, 3 players on the bench of a bit of calibre to bring on, you never know how a game will transpire, and that could have been a turning point for them. I do think as well as Bohemians played and as defensively structured that they were, they missed a bit of presence up front that Ando Flood would give them. You know, they didn't really create anything. They had a bit of huffing and puffing towards the end of the game, and you know, a few high balls in on the goalkeeper. But really, I don't think we've seen a Bohemian shot on target for the entire 90 minutes.
I think that was key as well. You know, when you lose a semi-final or you lose any big game, you're sitting in the room and you're disappointed. They're not sitting in there ruining a load of missed chances. There's no player in there sitting there going, I won't sleep tonight because I missed a sitter. They didn't create anything, and that'll be disappointing for them. I assume that was their approach. They didn't, as I said at half time, they didn't think they would create a load of chances, but they'll be disappointed that they created nothing really. A few balls into the box towards the end. Brendan Clark was a little unsure whether to come or not. That was really all Bohs created going forward, and as disappointing as it is for them to lose, I think they deservedly were beaten.
Okay, well, there's plenty to analyse, particularly from that second half, and we'll also hear from both camps and their reactions to this afternoon's result here at Dalymount Park. It is finished Bohemians 0, Sligo Rovers 1, Rovers through to their third consecutive final. We'll have the analysis after this break.
The UEFA Champions League, Marseille versus Arsenal, Wednesday at 7:30 on RTE2.
Biggie's Extra helps keep your teeth clean. And for a 1 in 10 chance to win a £5 online, check out our new Tooth Fairy Packs.
On a night like any other, Tom set off on a voyage of discovery, pausing and rewinding and sparking a fascination that would last a lifetime. Meanwhile, a delayed train gave Jack a moment to watch live TV, catching the headlines on Sky News. And across town, Sarah made sure she wouldn't miss the show everyone was talking about. Every day, Sky customers can enjoy all this included as standard. Safe in the knowledge the price of their Sky package is frozen until 2013. Sky. Believe in better.
Story later, dude.
You might need these, safe.
Dave, can you hear me?
Where's your tux?
I get no kick from champagne, but I get a kick.
Shall we?
Baraka Boost, a little kick when you need it. This is a tummy in distress. Excess acid has caused heartburn and indigestion, but Rennie turns excess acid into water and other natural substances. So now the tummy is perfectly calm. Simply relieved with Rennie. And now there's Rennie Ice, a new cool way to get fast relief.
Do take control of your bills. Do it free on mybills.ie. Because you decide what to pay and when. Sign up now for free on mybills.ie. Don't do hassle. Do take control.
The new O2 Money Card. Put your money on it and never spend more than what's on your card. Use it anywhere you see the Visa sign, even online. When your money is gone, just top it up again. O2. Together is better.
We're here to determine how it's possible that Jake got a freshly made 6-inch sub and a drink for just €4.50.
A
sub and a drink for just €4.50.
All day? Apparently so.
How is this possible?
Curious.
And they say there are 8 to choose from. Incredible.
I just can't make this value add up.
The Subway €4.50 lunch deal. Genius!
A reminder of some of our football programmes to come. There will be comment and analysis on all the league and cup action on MNS tomorrow evening. It's at 7:30 on RTE2. Then on Wednesday evening we're back in Champions League action for the games between Olympique de Marseille and Arsenal and Chelsea against Genk. The programme begins at 7:30, so I do hope you can join us for that. Okay, the FAI Ford man of the match this afternoon was Jason McGuinness. He's now talking with Eamon Donoghue.
Yes, Jason McGuinness is the man of the match, and Fran Gavin, director of the National League, is here to present him with his award. Jason, congratulations. That far from vintage, but certainly effective.
Yeah, we don't really mind what way it comes. The most important thing now, we're in the final, and we're lucky the Bohemians. They're a fantastic club, and some of the lads out there put in a hard shift, and unfortunately there can only be one winner in this type of game, so we'll prepare for the final now. Whoever we may get, we'll give them a good game.
You know all about Bohs as a club. You had 2 spells here, so an interesting one from your point of view.
Yeah, we're employed by Sligo Rovers now, and once you cross the white line, that's who you do your job for, and you've no friends on the football pitch. So, as I said, I'm employed by Sligo Rovers now, and I had great times at Bohs in the cup final. That's the most important thing.
You're unlikely to win the league now, but a cup final, a chance to put some gloss on the season.
Yeah, we'll keep going till the end of the season. I mean, we make great strides on the pitch this year. We play some fantastic stuff, and we'll continue to push Shamrock Rovers all the way. They're a good side, and as I said, the most important thing now is that we're in the cup final, and hope we can go on and do a good job.
Wish you the best of luck. Thanks, Jason. Congratulations.
Yes, congratulations to Jason McGuinness, the man of the match this afternoon, for an excellent performance. And we're just listening to what Jason was saying there. When you look back at their league campaign, for starters, a couple of the slip-ups came at home, and they came at home to Bohemians. And considering how tight the title race has been, Sligo will rue those results against Bohemians. So I suppose they'll be delighted to get one over on them today.
They will. I mean, we were critical a moment ago of Bohemians for the defensive way that they played, and they didn't create much going forward. But it was a tight game. But as Jason McGuinness said, like our job is here to analyse how people play, whether it was entertaining, whether managers did the right or wrong thing. The only thing they care about is the fact that they won the game, and the only thing the Bohs players will care about is the fact that they lost. Everything else is irrelevant to them at this point. So they got there, and fair play to them. Yeah.
Do you think there was any semblance of a hangover from that St Patrick's Athletic result for Sligo, because they never fully got into their stride today?
No, but I think that's more credit to Bohemians. I think Sligo found it very difficult to play against Bohs this year, resulting in 2 defeats and 1 draw in the previous 3 matches that they played against them. And I think that's more due to the way that we've seen the game today transpire, and how it resulted in I guess, a very, very tight, compact centre of the park, where we didn't see a lot of open play, which resulted in very few opportunities being created. And that's been indicative of the performances that we've seen, with probably the exception of the first half in the first game they played in the showgrounds earlier this season, where it was quite open. So I think, I thought Paul Fennon's interview was very honest. I mean, I think while we're saying they didn't create an awful lot, they were structurally very sound, and tactically he got it spot on. And I think with the group of players that he had before him today, and that's no disrespect to them because they're good players, but against the 11 that were Sligo, I mean, I think there's a difference in a gulf of class and experience.
Okay, well, Eamon Donoghue obviously has got his boots on, or his spikes on, because he's managed to catch up with Paul Cook, which is no mean achievement. He's back down the tunnel, and Eamon's with him now.
Paul, congratulations, another cup final. It wasn't a vintage performance by your side by any stretch, but you got there, and it's a 3rd final in a row to look forward to.
That's a fantastic achievement by the players. Every single one of them has been a credit to the club all year. Seasons are long and they're tough, and our lads have really stuck at it really well. We're all, myself, Jerry, the committee, the chairman, we're so proud of them tonight. To get there again for the lads is great credit. The travelling support we had last week at St Patrick's, we felt we let them down. Today we had even greater numbers today. We've got to win. Football's a cruel game. Sometimes we weren't at our best today. And I think great credit should go to Bohemians. They've had a fantastic season under great pressure. Today they were out 4 or 5 players. And there was nothing in the game for long spells. So it's great, that we've won. We're delighted we've won. But we also, our commiserations go to Bohemians, and we wish them the best of luck for their future.
Why weren't you at your best, do you think?
There's a number of reasons, isn't it? But that's football. We'd rather keep things like that in private. We have a lot of games, and we like to move the ball quickly, and sometimes on certain pitches we can, and certain pitches we can't. Sometimes you just don't play well. you know, occasions can get to players, semi-finals and finals do. You know, and like we said last week after the game, it's about results. You know, people don't remember how well you played. They remember who wins competitions. You know, last week we left St. Pat's on the floor. Tonight we're leaving Daly Mount, you know, as proud as anything.
Was it hard to get the players up during the week after the disappointment of last week?
No, not at all. We try and be level-headed. You know, we try and do the same things. You know, we try and keep the players' feet on the ground if we win. You know, we do the same stuff. If we get beat, we try and do the same stuff. Because over the season, like I've said many a time, you know, the best team wins the league. We don't have no problems with that. You know, and other teams win trophies. You know, in the history of football, big clubs win trophies. And I'd like to think that we've been around the league all season. You know, it looks like we're going to fall short in that. You know, but we're in a cup final again, and whoever we play, we'd really look forward to it. It was a special occasion last year, which we all enjoyed, and to go back there is fantastic for us all.
Not many clubs retain the FAI Cup. What would it mean to Sligo Rovers?
Probably Vincent Nally will be happy with your art treasurer to retain it. Do you know, it's difficult. Do you know, as I said, after winning it last year, the pain of Tala the year before was bad. We lost a sporting finger late in the game, but last year we had the joy of winning it. Do you know, and in football, if you don't have a bit of luck, sometimes you won't have success. We'll go there, we'll finish the season as well as we can. We're so proud to be in the final. Do you know, and we'll go there, we'll take big support again, and we'll try and do the league proud.
Paul, thanks very much.
No problem. All right. Cheers, lads.
Yes, well, Paul Cook, he is a good manager. We acknowledge that at the top of the programme. But let's talk about Sligo Rovers, the football club, because they go about their business in a very professional manner. They look the part. They bring great support with them. Sligo is a proper football town. And it is a great achievement, and it's good for Irish football to have one of the regional teams getting to a final and competing for league honours on a regular basis.
Yeah, I mean, they're a huge support here again today. Paul Cook spoke about the support that they brought to Richmond Park recently to play Pats, and we all saw the support they brought to the Aviva Stadium for the Cup final last year. They play very well on the pitch. Football-wise, they're a lot of teams' second favourite club because of how they play and they're entertaining. And off the field, which not many, if any, other of the clubs around them can say, they tend to go about things the right way, or if they don't, we don't hear about them, which is part of the battle when you're in that job, to be honest, as I know. But they seem to be very well run, and Paul Cook as the figurehead of the whole thing. I mean, it's no wonder why a whole town wouldn't get behind them and support and travelling to support them.
Yeah, it goes to show what clubs can achieve if they go about their business the right way, doesn't it, Tony?
Absolutely, Peter, and I think Richie touched on it at the end there. I think the support is a big thing. You know, week in, week out, they get a lot of fans turning up at that ground. They've put a lot of effort into the pitch. The stadia is probably one of the best in the league now, and I know from a player, the dressing rooms are exquisite. It's a nice stand to sit in, that new stand. So, I mean, they've done a lot of things off the field, but to enable them to do that, they need bums sitting on seats every week, and they get that. People come through the turnstiles, and whether that's Paul, whether it's the players, whether it's a combination of everything, there's a feel-good factor about Sligo at the moment, and long may it continue. Yeah,
there certainly seems to be a great relationship between the supporters and the club is getting its just rewards on the pitch now. Let's look back at some of the incidents from the second half, and of course the all-important goal. Richie, it came after 73 minutes.
73 minutes, yeah, it was a while in coming, but the game was crying out for something. We spoke at half time, there was nothing of any interest going forward that we could show. McGuinness finds himself here free at the back stick. I think on here he just gets drawn into the centre of the 6-yard box at the last minute, leaves McGuinness free. I don't know whether he meant to control that in his tie or not, but a wonderful bit of control, and then he's quick enough to reaction. I think it hits him more than anything in under the legs of Murphy.
I think at the last minute here, I think going here, he feels that Stephen Hurley's not going to get to the pitch of the ball, so he goes to try and help him, but in doing so also misses the ball and leaves his man free in the back stick. Yeah, and Tony, it came at a point in the game where Sligo very much had the upper hand. In fact, they were enjoying their best spell, and they'd strung together some really nice moves, the moves we were talking about a short time ago with Richie, showing what they're capable of. Yeah, I mean, we're critical at half time because this is what they had not managed to do in the first half. Lovely little outside of the boot flick there from Richie Ryan, who was also instrumental in the goal, and a nice little ball out to I think it's Green, who plays the first time, and there's not a lot between that, and Blinkhorn had to come on at the time and gave him a bit more presence in and around the 6-yard box, and that was him just missing out on that opportunity. But Richie Ryan started to get on the ball in the centre of the park, and he hadn't been doing that in the first half enough, certainly in dangerous areas, and that was the difference. And again, you know, this might look easy, but it's nice little pass and move stuff that we didn't see in the first half. Again, you know, out to Green for another first time ball into the box, and Gerard O'Brien cut that out, and Gerard O'Brien had an excellent game actually. He was, you know, he read the play very, very well in the heart of the Bohemians defence. Yeah, and of course the balance of chances fell to Sligo Rovers as well, Richie. They created them a couple of shots on target, and
I think it was Joseph and Doe we're going to have a look at.
They did. We spoke. I mean, as you said, you cannot cover a Sligo game without mentioning Joseph at length. We said at half time he was fairly anonymous in the first half, particularly for a fellow of his talent. That's really not acceptable. But this is one early on in the second half, bit of purpose, took a shot on target. I think it's probably the first time a goalkeeper has shot to save. This is good play. Blinkhorn and Doyle linking up well, which didn't happen all that often. Again, I know Blinkhorn was only brought on towards the end, but there wasn't much link-up play of any success by either side up front. So there were two meaningful chances from Sligo, but there wasn't that many others, to be honest.
Yeah, considering the strength and depth of the squad, do you think that Paul Cook is going to have any major selection headaches ahead of the final if everyone is fit?
I'm sure he will. Absolutely. When you have the players of the quality that he had on the bench today, you know, you look at Cortaro. I mean, he was a star at Sligo in years gone by. You know, it didn't work out for him too well down here, but he's a very, very good player. And you have players that didn't get on the park today that are great players. So I've no doubt that it'll be a difficult headache. But as any manager will tell you, that's the kind of problem that you want. And I think when it comes to a cup final, you have a squad of players that just gel together. You know, you look at Conor Powell, who really hasn't been involved too much in the second half of the season. He's played and he's an excellent player, but here's a player who's playing in England at the start of the campaign in Ireland. So, I mean, he has great talent at his disposal, and that serves them well, as long as he can keep that talent happy. And to keep talent happy, you have to be involved in a number of competitions. And I think that's the aim for Sligo now. They'll look to qualify for Europe again next year. You know, and they'll look to be actively involved in 4 competitions, and you need that with a squad his size.
Okay, well, we've already heard from Sligo Rovers manager Paul Cook. It's time now to hear from Pat Fenlon. He's speaking with Eamon.
Pat, the lads battled hard. You probably couldn't ask a whole lot more of them over the 90 minutes.
No, I don't think we deserved that, to be honest. We worked really hard today and didn't have many chances, but we gave a real commitment performance, and we're disappointed for the players, to be honest.
You lost it off a set piece. Is that frustrating?
Yeah, I don't think there was shot and goal probably from both teams, to be honest, in anger, you know. So, it's disappointing to lose goals, but you can't be too critical of the players neither, you know.
What does it mean for your season and the remaining fixtures? A cup final would have really given the club something to look forward to.
Doesn't mean anything else in reality. It'd be nice to look forward to the cup final, but we're not in it now, so we're disappointed the way we've been treated over the last couple of weeks in relation to suspensions and games that have been refixed and changed over. So, but I suppose people have got their way now, so we're happy enough.
Do you want to elaborate on that a little bit?
No, it cost me too much money. People know what's going on, you know, that refixed the game, so I'll let them talk about it if they want.
Thanks, Pat. Cheers.
Yes, you can tell there that Pat Fenlon is peeved about the suspensions that we've already spoken about. They were costly.
Yeah, can't really comment too much on what he said because he didn't elaborate enough, but obviously he has some gripes as to when games are replayed and the knock-on effect that would have for his own players serving suspensions. He's right not to elaborate. There is a rule here for good reason, I think, that you don't kind of speak publicly and criticise others, because we all just kind of look daft slagging each other if that's the case. So maybe he'll say in time more about what he means.
Yeah, but understandably, Pat Fenlon a bit disappointed, to say the least, with Bohemians bowing out of the cup on this particular afternoon. Now, one player who actually missed out on the final last year was Sligo Rovers captain Richie Ryan, but now he can look forward to a day out at the Aviva Stadium. Let's hear from him now. He's with Eamon.
Richie, a cup final, I suppose it means a lot for you having missed out last year.
Yeah, personally it does, Eamon. Obviously it's going to be a great honour for me to lead the lads out to the Aviva, which I missed out on last year, but that was football last year, and thankfully for me personally it's come back around again this year and I'll get the chance to play.
I think you struggled to get into your rhythm, particularly in the early stages of the match.
Yeah, I think so. I think Pat Fenlon obviously knows what we're all about. We like to pass the ball and move it quick. The pitch was very dry today, which is unusual for Bulls because usually they have sprinklers on, but that's obviously Pat's way of trying to stop us playing. But thankfully the results came out our way in the end, so can't complain.
They work quite hard. They really seem to be out to frustrate you in midfield from the very start.
That's the way a lot of teams try to approach us now, but thankfully Big J has got the goal that broke the deadlock, and then we came under a little bit of pressure, but we seemed pretty solid at the back, so just seeing it out 1-0.
Obviously the objective was to win the league at the start of the season. That's unlikely to happen now. The cup, some consolation at least.
Yeah, it's a massive consolation. It's a big day out for the whole country, you know, and we're just glad to be there again because last year was a day we'll never forget in our careers.
Thanks very much.
Yes, it certainly was memorable at the Aviva last year. By the way, there is one game on in the Airtricity League Premier Division this afternoon. It's half-time at the Brandywell, where Derry City are leading Galway United by 2-0. Right, tomorrow evening, of course, there's the replay of that first semi-final. St. Pat's and Shells drew 1-1 at Talca Park on Friday evening. They go head-to-head once again at Richmond Park tomorrow evening. Richie, do you see anything other than a St. Pat's win, or do you think Shells could spring a surprise?
I certainly think they could. We said at the start of the programme about how the game went on Friday night. After Shells went down to 10 men, they at times looked a better team, which is inexcusable really, and it's understandable why a team with a man less would find extra energy from somewhere and motivate themselves in a greater way. But Pat shouldn't have played the way they did in the second half. They were disappointing, and the draw was fully deserved, I think, for Shells. They deserved their equaliser when they got it. So I think it'll be a difficult night for Pats. I don't think home advantage is massively important. I think that the Shells showed enough that they can cause them real problems tomorrow night.
Yeah, and I suppose, well, Pats will have learned from maybe the mistakes of that second half. They'd hardly do the same thing twice.
No, I mean, to be honest, I think Pats for me are favourites, and I think they will win the tie. But I mean, I see Alan Matthews there today, so he has one eye on the final, looking at the opposition. So I mean, Shells are obviously going to go there with intent. I think for me, looking at the way Pats have performed over the last few months, I think they have enough about them to learn from Friday night's game. And in particular, I think, you can't be too critical. They were one foot in the final, probably took the foot off the gas, and they have an inexperienced side. They have a lot of young players, so that might be one of the reasons why they didn't kill the game off. And I would expect them to perform very well tomorrow night. I would expect them to win the game. For me, they are the favourites. Yeah,
if Paul Cook could pick the team he was going to meet in the final, Richie, who do you think he'd select?
I think he'd pick Shells, no question. Purely because of their first division club. They don't have experience at the top level in the way the Pats does, although it's an experienced Pat side. But I think Pete Mann has done a great job. We mentioned the job that Pat Fenlon's done here. We've spoken a lot about Paul Cook. I think Pete Mann has had a great season as well. And particularly in the Cup, if you go near Inchicore, anyone related to the St. Pat's, well, the first thing they'll talk about is how long it's been since the FAI Cup was there.
We didn't mention that on Friday night, and we were trying to avoid it today, but well done.
I've just done it. It's 50 years this year since they've done it last time, so it's an enormous achievement for them to get to this point. We know they've had budget restrictions as well over the last couple of years, and Pete's dealt with it very well, and he's put a squad together which up until recently was thinking about winning the league. So he's done very well this season as well. Another one of the managers who deserves a great bit of praise. Okay, thanks very much, lads. Well, don't forget that second semi-final will be decided tomorrow night at Richmond Park. It can of course go to extra time and penalties if they're level after full time. But I'm afraid that's where we have to wrap it up from Dalymount Park for this afternoon. Many thanks to Richie and to Tony for their analysis and company in the studio here. Well, we had a bit of red at Dalymount Park this afternoon. You can be guaranteed there'll be a lot of red at the Aviva Stadium on the 6th of November. From all of us here, a very good afternoon to you.